Hey, welcome to Mad Dog's After Show with the Mad Dog and Cole, the Mix Master, Farrell.
Y'all ready for this?
We have got a guest today, Mr. Wes Kain. Stay tuned.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Man, once again, thank you for the inspiration, Mr. Evil Knievel, incredible icon. Just living that life, that's what we're about here at Along for the Ride. Be sure and thank our partners, Bomber Eyewear, bombereyewear.com, and Kicker Performance Audio at kicker.com. Without further ado, we want to get right to the grits of this sucker. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing Wes Kain in. Wes, thank you so much for being here. I want to cover a couple of things. Obviously, voice of Kicker Arena Cross, voice of Arena Cross, voice of Kicker Enduro Cross, Monster Cup, I believe, voice of Monster Cup. Holy smokes, my list is just so long. Loretta's, right?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Also, many of you don't know, most people know that you work with Vanilla Ice on the Vanilla Ice TV show, Vanilla Ice Project.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that you are a big philanthropist, always helping out. And something that very few people know is you are a Marine.
Yep.
And we want to be sure and say thank you so much for your service. We have a great respect for all our service personnel. With that, ladies and gentlemen, Wes Kain, what's up?
Hey, you know it, man. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I know you've been trying to track me down for the last couple of weeks, and my schedule's just so crazy, But luckily, right now I'm out in Oregon for the second round of Enduro Cross. So you tracked me down. You got me pinned up.
Yep. Well, if I didn't get you tonight, I would have probably tracked you down Thursday night when I get there. So I will be there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and thank you. I mean, it's really special. We're a little tiny beginning podcast, and you're a big personality, and it's really means a lot to us and to me and to Cole that you're on, and man, it's a huge deal for us. We're great, and you're our first guest.
Well, I appreciate you guys, feeling that way about me. I am blessed. I'm humble. I don't do any of this for any reward. I do what I do for passion. I've been in, my dad had a motorcycle shop, raced boats, raced cars. Well, I mean, as far as back as I remember, 4, 5, 6 years old being at the racetrack, whether it be at the drag strip, the stock car track, or the dirt bike track. So I do this for my passion, what I believe in, and whatever I can do to help others. That's just what I'm called upon to do. I don't try to go out of my way. It just comes natural. And you could see with our friendship for doing what we do at the races, plus finding out that your love for race cars as well as I do, we kind of got a little special, like, I got to come talk to you. Yeah. I got to find you, share the moments, that I get to, enjoy being at the stock car track, and little secrets that you tell me I try to take in. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. Thank you. Man, what an honor it is for sure. And I think, you kind of touched on your dad. So, and your beginnings, and we're about a lot of things. We're about the carny life that guys like us live, And that was the deal with trying to get together, was all these travel. I had travel glitches. I broke down. You had plane delays. And next thing you know, it's 2 weeks later. So
What everybody thinks is that when you're on the spotlight or you're on the go, I mean, just like seeing you at the races under your tent, you're there with everything from kicker, but nobody really knows how much hard work that you have to put in just to be there that weekend, or the things that you have to do once you leave that racetrack, or the travels, or the places that you have to be, and the sacrifices you have to make for the fan or the person that sees you there going, okay, he's here. You know, it's they say it's a glorious, lifestyle, but sleeping at the airport trying to stay warm because your flight canceled at 2 a.m. You didn't get your connection on your red eye back from LA to get down to Florida. Where's all those people at then? It's just you. And then they're like, well, what are you doing sleeping on the floor? I'm like, I have no choice. I got to wait till something to get a flight.
yeah.
It ain't like snap my fingers and go down to the Radisson or the Doubletree. It's just, here I am. Well, how do you do that and why? It's just like, you wouldn't understand. It's just what we do.
Yep, absolutely. And that goes in with what you were saying about the passion behind it.
Right.
I've told thousands of people, they say, "Oh, you got such a great job. This is so awesome." I said, you have to have the passion to do this.
Well, it's like what Ricky Carmichael, he's a big figure, a big public figure, and he's a fan of our TV show, and he's done shows and been guest on things, and he's like, well, how many hours do you film a day? Like 2 or 3? And I'm like, Ricky, we film like 12 hours a day for 6 months to make 13 episodes of our TV show. Plus go get on a plane. Like, there's times I've left the set and changed at the airport to get on a flight so I could be in Minneapolis for an arena cross, and then fly the red eye back or do something so I can be on set at 8 o'clock in the morning, where I can't mismatch and go, well, I got to take a day off here or here, and there's no such thing as jet lag. So you got to hustle like that. So
Yep.
I'm like, you do it. But one thing I did want to say, and a lot of people again, when I talk about my dad, raced cars, did everything. He hustled. I worked for, until he got his motorcycle shop. He had like a Saturday morning shop where he would open up and we'd go there as kids, and he'd work on bikes, and then we'd go ride. But then my mom and dad and him got divorced. So my mom married my stepdad, and I was like 8 years old, and I got separated from that, the bikes and the fun and all that. Well, my stepdad, it all comes full circle with how I'm living now, because my stepdad was in construction. So I had to go to work, pull nails. So I remember I had to 8, 9 years old trying to carry a piece of plywood that was bigger than me, and dragging around a job site or pick up garbage or dig things with a shovel. But that's how I learned construction. I learned how to work. Well, my mom told me when my dad tried to get me dirt bikes, no, you're not getting dirt bikes. That's the reason I divorced him. If you want any dirt bikes or you want anything like that, you got to work and earn it yourself. So I found myself at like 11 or 12, like buying an XR75 for my dad so I could ride, or a YZ80, and traded it up for a Hodaka. And then my dad's like, hey, I got a bike. I just welded a countershaft sprocket on it. I ended up with I was like 13 or 14. I had like a RM370. It's like crazy stuff. I rode whatever, but I still worked. And then I started racing and doing things. And like I tell people, for instance, like I got my first bicycle when I was like, it had training wheels on it. Lucky for me, it was a 20-inch bicycle. And I learned how to ride it, take training wheels off, but it was like a cruiser, but I had a 20-inch frame. Well, all the other kids at Christmas time were getting Huffies. Everybody got a Huffy whenever they came out in the 70s. I had to take my bicycle and put a pair of motorcycle handlebars on it. I put a seat on it off a cruiser. I left the seat on it. I think I put a banana seat on it, and I made my own dirt bike. I made my own next bike. And I rode that bike from the time I took the training wheels off till I was 13. When I'm 13, I'm working, and I walk into Beecroft Bicycles, and I buy the best BMX bike you can buy. So that starting to like earn and work and passion and get what you work for started because of probably the way I was raised. You know, leaving my dad, having a passion for something I love being taken away from me, and then you got to work. You're going to be in this house. You got to go to work. You're going to earn everything, and then that led me to basically dropping out of school when I was 16. I was racing then. I was old enough to take myself to the dirt bike track. I had friends that raced, and then my mom's like, "You need to go in the military. You're 16. You're making $300 a week. You think you're 25, and your lifestyle, whatever." Of course, I, drinking a little bit of beer and doing whatever. My mom enlisted, took me down to the recruiter. I was 16, and the same story is you hear from so many. Oh, well, he's too young. He's a high school dropout. We can't take him. He doesn't have a diploma, but if he scores high on the ASVAB, he can we'll take him. So lo and behold, smart guy me passed high on the ASVAB, and I turned 17 July 2nd, August 10th. The paperwork was done, and I was in Paris Island on Yellow Footprints. That quick. Quick. No more dirt bikes. They're sold. But lucky for me, my dad had the shop, so when I'd come in and out, I posted pictures like I got an 82 RM 250. I would go race like the Winter Am if I was home for 30 days or in and out. So I never stopped my passion for dirt bike racing. Like, let's go buy another dirt bike. I got one. Well, I'm leaving on deployment. Dad, take care of the bike. Keep it in the shop. I'll be back. So I never really got away from it. And then as soon as I got out, I was 21. From working for my stepdad, I started pouring concrete, and I started racing again. So then comes the family, and then comes, the business and all kinds of stuff after that. It's crazy.
Sure. Well, that was awesome, because my next question was going to be what got you started? Where did it begin? And man, what a history. I gotta say something though, that XR75, that I started laughing because that was Cole's second bike, and Cole still has that bike.
Oh yeah, we can't get rid of it.
My dad put me together I remember it was a Benelli 60, and it had big wheels on it. And he was putting that together for me. I rode that, and we all had a CT70. There was CT70s with a centrifugal clutch, and there was one with like a 3-speed. It had a clutch. I had one of those. A Hodaka Super Rat. Just so many bikes. Montesa 250 I rode. Like, my dad just had all these bikes, and we were never. But on Christmas Day, the other kids got the Elsinore, the this, the that, the brand new bikes. And again, I was faced with riding whatever was in the shop, whatever somebody sold back to my dad or something. It was always, but I enjoyed it. I didn't care because I love to ride dirt bikes. I love to ride.
Yeah, I would say, I think, when it comes to riding, like, it sounds like all three of us grew up like riding junk, but it was our junk, right?
70s, you either, I think the first dirt bike I actually bought that was brand new was an 84 YZ250. That was the first bike I actually rolled out brand new that's never been rode before. My whole life, time I was probably 5, 6, 7, riding on the back of my dad, going with him, and other bikes after that. But when you ask how I got started, I got married when I was 24. I quit, I was working for a company making like $15 an hour pouring concrete. And my wife that I was married to for 18 years, she had 2 sons. Eric and Drew were 6 and 4. And I got married, So now I got a family. I got to start a business. By time we got married, bought a house, had to get serious. By the time I was 27, I had 20 employees working for me. I'm making a lot of money.
Wow.
My dad gave the boys a couple bikes, but it was like 5 years. I didn't ride. I didn't do anything. I remember in '89, I broke my tibia and fibula, and that's how I met my ex-wife, because I was at the bar with crutches with a rod sticking out of my leg. And I looked at her and I said, I've never seen you before. And she goes, well, I saw you yesterday at the beach. And I'm like, yeah, why didn't you say hi? She goes, you had 5 girls with you. Because girls picked me up because I was racing dirt bikes. I was a cool guy, you know. I was like 24 years old. I'm going to dirt bike track. So anyway, I got my boys into racing. The promoter I used to race for when I was a kid, Pete Scalzo, started a track like 5 miles from the house at the fairgrounds. So I show up with Drew. He was 6 and 4. He's like 6 or 7 now. Yeah, it's 5 years that passed. So I think he was 8, maybe. And he was riding a Z50, and Derek had a KX60. And I'm like, I bought another dirt bike. So now we're like a family. I haven't rode it in 5 years. They're stone cold beginners. And there's the promoter. There's some of the guys I grew up with. They're still racing pro class. And I'm trying to get into pro and ain't rode in 5 years. And it's just a mess. So I think a year after that, I blew my knee out. But honestly, the boys raced 15 years. I basically trained them. They rode Supercross. They rode Outdoor Nationals. They actually, when I announced Arena Cross, they were racing Arena Cross. But how that transpired is Dean Diaz, that owns Orlando Speed Park, I raced with Little Dean's dad, and we rode, pro level at state level, at pro level. And he asked me one time if I wanted to announce. And I said, sure, I'm hungry. Can you give me a bologna sandwich? I'll announce for you. And he was in 2005, just to fill in. And they loved it. And like Ronnie Tishner, who was a factory Suzuki rider, everybody's got to know who Ronnie Tishner was. He was there training. I think he was training. I don't know if Nico was riding in or not, but he was instrumental in training Nico Izzy. And he's like, Wes, this is your calling. I'm like, I'm not going to be no announcer, dude. I'm just filling in for a bologna sandwich. This is just for fun. I'm just imitating like Herb Braun and Lynn Nickerson and everybody that I've heard so many years. And I think Jersey Joe told Jeff Cernick. So I took one of my kids to a regional up at Steel City for the pro sport class for Loretta's. And Rita Coombs is like, I heard you're a pretty good announcer. Why don't you call this pro class? So I called it because I knew everybody. They were racing with my kids, knowing them all since they were on 65s or 50s. It was easy. And she's like, hey, why don't you come down and you can help us out Loretta Lynn's. Well, I'd already been going to Loretta Lynn's since 94, or, that was my first trip there. And here it is, like 2000, I think 4 or 5. So I'm announcing Loretta's, and it's going good. My kid's racing. This one's over here. I'm announcing. And then it was really weird. My kid had just broken off from before it was Feld, I forget what it was called. My kid, his brother, Becky Coombs, Shane Schaefer, broke away from whoever had Monster Jam at the time and whoever had Arena Cross, and they were doing Supercross. And they walked in the tower and they're like, hey, we're starting a new series called Buku Arena Cross. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You want to announce? We're looking for somebody to announce. And me, I never say no. And I believe in fake it till you make it. I go, sure, I'll do it. And Kevin, they're like, okay, well, we'll hire Kevin Kelly too. He'll be like the guy up there, but you got to do the floor. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing about nothing. All I knew was sneaking into Supercross, seeing my buddies, how's this going to go down? I get a plane ticket. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. Now I'm nervous. hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. The lights are going to come on. You're going to know this guy. You're going to know that guy. You know, this guy. I was scared to death. And the lights came on, and all I knew was just, welcome, race fans. Fort Worth, Texas, for the round, blah, blah, Boot Arena Cross. And I did it. And I did the whole race. I did 2 years of it, which I got a lot of experience in production and how things work with lights and this. And basically faking the whole thing. Just imitating announcers, seeing what I knew dirt bikes. I knew dirt bikes. It was like, okay, now I'm telling everybody here what I see, you know, and I'll get up on the podium. Hey, Josh Steeman, tell me about that race, or Darcy Lange, you know, great job, and Tiger Lacey and Tommy Hopmaster, and I started doing amateur racing then. Hey, you want to do mini Olympics? Win Kern, who I used to race with, or Jerry West. Jerry West, while I used to go there, hired me to announce a couple minios. Okay. So now instead of paying you, you're paying me, because I used to pay you to race and my kids. And it just steamrolled into something crazy to where Feld called me and wanted me to do the Amsoil Arena Cross. So I actually worked for them for almost 12 years.
Wow.
You know, and then still doing the TV show. Then all of a sudden I'm at Lake Whitney, and Rob, we did an A&E True biography on Where's Ice Today. You know, there was always like, what's he doing today? You know, those little specials. So I was the voice in that, you know, the guy that backed up what Rob was saying. They cut to me, and our producer called and said, hey, you know, Vanilla Ice does you know, some home improvements and has property. We should do a show. And they actually laughed at it. And I was at Lake Whitney, and I didn't know this conversation was going on. And Rob hits me up. He goes, hey, when are you going to be home? This was 2009. He goes, when are you going to be home? I'm like, in a week. He goes, okay, we got a TV show. I go, what do you mean we got a TV show? He goes, no, bro. They were here, the camera crew. They did a sizzle. They love it. We're doing a TV show. Didn't even know the name of it. You know, right after 2008, when the market crashed, and people were gutting houses and selling the plumbing out of it, the bathtubs and anything, the cabinets. So he buys this house as a neighborhood, and it takes 3 months. We do the first season. And I said to producer, I'm like, hey, you think we'll get another one? He goes, oh, it depends on ratings. I mean, we did 10 years of it. We did 130 episodes.
Wow.
And still doing the racing, still doing, you know, then I get the call to do the Baja Bra with Pat up there. 2009, I start that. Same as the TV show. The Monster Cup starts right about then. I'm doing some step in for outdoor, you know, pro motocross. I'm doing some supercross stand-ins. I got Lake Whitney now. I got, you know, Oak Hill 2 weeks in a row. It's just took on a life of its own, and I'm going to ride the wave. You call me, right. Let's go. Let's ride this wave of craziness, you know, and let's just see where it goes, you know? And then I meet people like you on my journey. And there was a thing called MySpace a long time ago. And my thing on MySpace was I travel the world, I meet people, and they become my best friends for life. And Mad Dog, you're gonna be in my life, man, for forever. Whatever we got left, you know.
Absolutely.
Meet a person like you, but you're a guy, man. You're like one of those guys I met, you know, and you know, like Michael Waltrip and Kurt Busch, you know, I met them through Monster Energy. I met them through doing events where Monster called me and they wanted to do a retirement video for Kurt Busch, but before he started, you know, driving for Michael Jordan. So I'm the liaison to say, hey, Rob, Monster Energy wants to do something. Okay, well, Kurt Busch wants your phone number. Oh, okay. And the funny thing is, now we're all friends. I talk to like Kurt Busch and Michael Waltrip or Chris Locash from the Locash Brothers. He's a country singer. We're on this group text and we're like brothers. We talk every day. What's up? How you doing? It just keeps building, you know, and it's just fun. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, I noticed that one time when we were talking, and one of the events. I can't remember where, and we were talking about something, and you're like, "Oh, I got to text. That reminds me, I got to text Michael." And I'm like, "Huh, Michael?" And he's like, "Yeah, Michael Waltrip." I'm like, "Oh, you're kidding me! You're killing me right now," because
Yeah.
he's got to be one of my favorite personalities in NASCAR.
He picks on me though. It's pretty funny. Like he was at Bristol and he'll randomly send me a picture of a car with a flat tire and he'll go, "Oh, Wes, this reminds me of you." And I just laugh because he's just got that sense of humor to where it's funny. Like at that moment, I needed that. I needed that. You know, I don't know what kind of day I was having, and I just laughed. I go, thinking about me, you know. But I'm pretty fortunate, and I try to you know, give back that fortunate I do. I ran with a pretty tough crowd at one point before I went to Marines in Green Acres, and none of those guys. The only thing that really saved me was I worked and I had my dirt bike.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the time my mom was like, "You need to get out of here. You need to go in the military. You need to go because none of those guys are really alive but one." And I'm talking about we're like 14, 15, 16. None of those guys are alive but one. The rest of them either were in prison because they were just after 11 o'clock, I know nothing good happens. And I would always be like, "Well, I got to go. I got to work tomorrow." Or I'm going racing, you know? And I go back to the community center now and I talk to the kids in that community center about making good choices and doing the right thing. I buy them computers. I get them books for school. COVID has kind of slowed it down, but I take, you know, people that I know in there to talk to them. One of my producers on the show was in Storm Chasers. So he actually drove that big monster tank looking vehicle into the tornado.
Holy smokes.
You know, I want you to meet these kids. I said they're sixth graders to high schoolers in this program. And it's an after school study program that their parents send them because they don't want them home alone because of the neighborhood they live in. And Byron did a whole video thing, and the kids' eyes were that big because they know about hurricanes in Florida, but they don't know what a tornado does. And, you know, I go back to help them kids out. And, you know, the mayor's like, put a street sign on it called the Wes Kain way because one of my slogans is there's a right way, the wrong way, and the Wes Kain way. My way might not be like your way, but my way, I think I'll just do it my way, you know?
Yeah.
And it was funny. I asked the kids very first time I went in there, I was nervous and I'm like, "Hey, how many of you guys think I've been arrested?" Because I got tattoos and all that stuff. And they all go like that. They raise their hand. I go, "No, I've never been arrested. I've never been booked. I made good choices. You know, I recognized trouble, and I, you know, kind of got into it, you know, in deep with them, to where like one day, you know, I tell them, help your parents. You got it easy. All they want you to do now is just go to school. They buy your shoes. You got a cell phone." And one day I was at the gym and these three like guys were coming to me, and I'm like, "Oh shit, what I do? Are these guys from like my past?" And I'm ducking down, and they go, "Hey, you're Wes Kain." I go, "Yeah, I'm Wes Kain. You were talking to my kids," and they were kind of like, you know, it's kind of serious in manner. And I go, "Yeah." They go, "Oh, we just want to tell you thank you." I'm like, "For what?" "Oh, they help with the garbage now. They pick up their stuff. They're doing their homework, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's cool. That's what we do." So that little bit right there makes me want to give back more, want to do more, you know.
Sure.
It's not about the ego. I don't have an ego. My ego's out the window. It's like, what can I do for you? How can I help you? You know?
Yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, it's funny little backstory. I'm explaining to my wife how excited I am, to be honest, about this interview and stuff. And so she does a quick Google search on your name. Well, out of all the cool stuff you do, what comes up first is your philanthropy stuff. And I think that's just something, and I know you don't do it for that reason, but the fact that that's what comes up first, I mean, that should tell you everything right there. And that's when I got to learn about Wes Kain Lane, you know, the little library and everything. And I'm like, dude, it's just cool.
I remember we did that. We did that on the TV show, and it's a program And I think every city has it where take a book, read a book, you donate a book, and it's just, and we built one, No Ice Project, and it actually sits in City Hall. So the kids can be there with their parents while the parents are doing, something at City Hall. They can actually pull a book out because we know how important reading is.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are looking at their phone, they're playing video games, but, books are important. I read books. I still sit down and I'll crack the book open and I'll read it. It's important.
I read, I used to read a lot more, when I was building the super stocks and the sportsman cars and stuff. But, there's obviously all this hands-on stuff that you're learning. And I had a great mentor, in Mike Fastlane, and God rest his soul, but he was a great mentor. And, but he wasn't always the most patient. It was like, look, this does this, this does this. I'm like, well, why? I get it right now. You want me to take care of this, but I would go read a book on suspension setup, or I I would read an entire book in one night about Smokey Yunick and some of his creativeness, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was inspiring. And you can learn, you can be inspired, makes you laugh, makes you cry. I remember my buddy Colton Moore, of the Moore brothers. After we lost Caleb, he wrote that book, Reaching for the Stars, and I shit you not, I have read that book probably 6 times. And every time I'm in tears half the way through, and I'm like, man, that's not something that I get when I'm watching TV,
No, it's good. That's good. I did the same thing you did when I started, when I got my race car. It's a long story how it ended up over at the shop that it is. But those guys, like I told you, you go to South Carolina, grandpa, great grandpa, that's NASCAR country up there. So they all got, all the way down. And now the guys that are my age, they've been racing up there since the 40s and 50s. So they got a lot of heritage up there. So my car's at the shop. They see me on TV. They want my car to shop, but I can't tell you a damn thing it's doing out on the track, And so I did the same thing you did. I got me a book on setup and how to scale a car and the 60/40 and weight disparity. So I have to learn now that, what push is, what, you can't fix getting out of the turn if you can't get in the turn. You can't fix going of center. You got to go in, and just so many things about, loose and tight, loose is fast, and I did the same thing you did. So it's just ironic, that you did that. I had to read about suspension and setup and do my homework because they're looking at me like, well, I go, the car's doing a little twitchy. And they go, no, it's darting.
Yeah.
Well, your toes out. Let's check your toe. Let's check, maybe put some bar in it if it's doing this, or what's it doing when you're going in, And I'm like, I'm getting better.
Yeah. Well, I was really blessed to do a bunch of that for a long time, and we had a lot of cars because we had a whole family. It was in Pacific Northwest, but there's some heritage up there also, not anywhere near the Carolinas. I mean, much respect to the birth of all that. I wouldn't know what I know if those guys didn't do what they did to begin with. So, you do a lot of research and a lot of trial and error. One of the big, I never really saw myself, and I know you do a lot of rider coaching and stuff, and you're always talking. I see you talking to riders all the time at arena cross or excuse me, endurocross, wherever we're at, and giving those guys help. And one of the biggest things for me, I had raced with Mike for a couple of years as his crew chief, and the second year we built a car for his daughter that turned 16. And after the, I think, first practice night, we built a $500 claimer car. It was a 70 Impala, no, 72 Impala SS. So it's two-door hardtop, just giant, painted bright yellow, and it called it the banana boat because it was a monster, you know. But after the first practice night with her, we went out the next week, and she didn't run 5 laps, and she came in the pits, and he tried to talk to her, and next thing I know, they're yelling at each other, and he just grabs the clipboard and throws it at me. He goes, "She's your freaking problem. I can't talk to her. She wants to race. It's your problem. You got to teach her how." And I'm like, have you ever seen me on a circle track? There's a reason I don't run a circle track. Can I make a car go ram one? Oh, hell yeah. Can I make more than 5 laps and hit my points? No, I get to look and, oh, there's a hot chick in the stands at turn 4. And next thing you know, you're in the wall or you're in the infield or, you know, I just can't stay there. It's like I hit my marks and I keep telling my hit your marks. Yeah, but look over there, you know. But yeah, working with her, you know, it's really rewarding, and I learned an awful lot. Very blessed there for sure. But yeah, it was as you know, when you're coming in and you're like, for me, getting in, I was nobody from nowhere. Nobody knew me from Adam, you know. Oh, I think that guy rode dirt bikes and I think he rode did some road racing. And it's like, yeah, on motorcycles, you know, not on cars, but there's a lot to learn.
Oh yeah, and you never quit learning, and that's the whole thing.
No.
You never quit learning. Like with me now, and I'll switch back over. Well, we're just bouncing around, but like, okay, I'm getting the stock car racing good. All I lack now is just to win one. I'm getting close, but my biggest thing that challenge was last week for the first discipline of endurocross because, like I said, like we were talking about, I've done Supercross. And know those kids from being an amateur all the way to pro. I know the Cooper Webbs. I know Chase Sesson. I know the Adam Cincerellas, the Carmichaels, the Wyndhams. But now I just went into the arena, Salt Lake City.
Yep.
Now there's rocks in there. I'm calling the telephone poles, but there's the Matrix. There's the Rock Garden. So there was an email about this guy needs to learn what's going on here. You know, I'm announcing Taddy Blazuziak's name wrong.
That was perfect that time.
Blake Gutzik. I'm totally a mess. So, I mean, I could sell the crowd the show, but the real people are like, this guy can't even say my name right. So this whole week, I've been doing homework. I know who Taddy is. I know who Colt Haker is now. I know who Tristan Hart is. Some of the women racers. Me and Jack, the photographer.
Oh yeah.
He's in the other room. He's playing flashcards with me. He's sending me pictures that he's took of riders, and I have to tell him verbally in a voice message who they are. So I'm up to speed this week. So you got to always learn. So that was a challenge, you know. And Todd hit me up. He goes, "You're gonna have to get to know these guys." And I was in there just rocking it, and of course, selling the show to the crowd, getting them to respond and scream and yell. But the little fine nuts and bolts, I really had to do a lot of homework this week, you know, and find out about some of these riders, Abbott and, Destre's son. And you just have to learn and Johnny Walker. So guys like that. So I'm still going to do more homework when I get there. When they start coming in on Friday, now I'm going to spend more time in the pits with them.
Yeah.
So it gets to be a natural relationship to where we're going to crush it this Saturday night, you know? I didn't take it lightly. I like constructive criticism, and it fires me up to do better.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I
and
don't know it all. Don't tell me. You know, no, I need to know.
that's inspiring though, because I mean, someone, excuse me, someone at your level, I mean, and you're still fired up, one email and you're fired up to go dig deeper, like, you know, and I know it's funny because I want to jump back to this in a second, but it's like the project. I want to hear about the project you just got done with the gray gold. But anyways, yeah, and that enduro cross is an entirely different thing, you know. And I think the first one I went to, I think that was in Denver. And I only went to one that year. So that would have been 19, I think, maybe, was the first of the endurocross I went to. And, you know, I knew these names. I mean, I've watched it before. And I'm like, wow, why, you know, what am I doing with guys like this? Like, I'm literally walking through the pits, just totally intimidated. You know,
I'm
and
a
it's,
fan. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast fan,
yeah,
and I'm a fan of these guys. I'm a fan of them because, you know, that takes skill. You got to be strong to do that.
it
And
takes
I
a
think
lot of discipline.
you got to have something about you different than anything to be able to do what they do. And I'm a fan. And that's goes back to the passion of the sport and respect. Respect. I see those guys doing what they do, and I just want to. I want to do better by them. You know, I don't want Taddy eating dinner after a race going, that guy's an idiot. He don't even know how to say my name. And he probably did say that, but that's okay. I'll make it better. I want to make him feel 20 feet tall when he gets on the podium. And that's what I want. My job.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, no matter who my friends are, no matter where I go, my job, like I said, there's no ego. My job is to make you feel 10 foot tall. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I can tell anybody, if you haven't seen or been to a race, an arena race that Wes Kain has been the voice of, get out to one, because talk about getting the crowd going. Holy cow. I was thinking of Gallup the last couple of years, you know, and we packed the stands, 5,500 people, I think, 2 nights in a row. And you get 5,500 people just waiting.
People there.
How many?
In Gallup, there was almost 8,000 people.
Wow.
That's what they said. It was standing room only.
Oh, yeah, it was packed. I thought the stands were smaller than that. Holy cow.
They said there was that many. But you know what's really cool what we did this year? Because they introduced me as Wes Kain from the TV show, the host, which is really cool. And I'm humble and blessed for that. But when I left there this year, there was, I guess they tried to get the younger kids out of the reservation to see different things to open them up. So a lady messaged me and she's like, hey, we're taking a group of 8 kids to a Royals baseball game in like 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. She goes, Vanilla Ice is doing a concert there, where at the end of the game, you know, he does sound check and they build a stage. They put it behind the wall. And I've been to one of these a few times down at Tampa. And then at the end of the game, they roll the stage back out. They'll invite the people down to the field. I mean, when you're in center field wall, there's a sea of people all the way to home plate. And you know the baseball field's pretty big.
Yeah.
So she's like, I want to know, since you know Ice, basically she wants to see if I'm bluffing or not. I mean, evidently she's on the show. She's like, I want the kids to meet him. I want to. Okay, so, and I know 8 passes plus it's a lot, but I called Rob and I'm like, Rob, this is really, you know, a special thing. I think we got to make this happen. And he said, don't even question it. Tell her how many passes she needs. I'll get it done. And, you know, I called her. I messaged her here. The pastor's going to be with this person. Here's that. And I didn't hear nothing. So I know in my brain this game is starting. I'm watching. He's doing a concert. We're cool. And I'm like, oh, I hope. Normally, if I send somebody a concert, I get like a picture, or something. I didn't hear anything. It was crickets. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope they got in. I hope this worked out. In the morning at 8 a.m., I was checking my phone ding. I looked, and there was 10 kids with adults in center field with him, with the biggest smiles on kids I've ever seen. And that right there, I got, like right now, I've got goosebumps.
Yeah.
I felt like we gave those kids a memory for life.
Wow.
And when we go back to Gallup, it's going to be even crazier because they're going to tell everybody, hey, Wes Kain got us with Vanilla Ice. It's, because it's the reservation. So it's even going to be awesome next year.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. And doing things like that is money.
Dude, it's so, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I get a little bit of a tear in the corner of my eye for real. That's like, it's touching, and I think it's important to give back. And it's funny because, on the front side of that, nobody knows what Wes Kain did to make that happen. But everybody appreciates it, That's huge.
We do it. We do whatever. And believe me and Rob have a charity that we do. We go, it was crazy. We know a lot of people. So we were hooked up with a radio station. This is going back 15 years. We met a radio DJ, and they wanted to do like a block party. So Rob was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? And then I'm coming up with me being a Marine. I'm like, so why don't we have the charity? We'll do this block party and we'll collect toys for kids, toys for tots. So I think the first year we collected maybe 100 toys. Within 10 years, we're filling a semi or two full of toys at this block party. And we started going on Christmas Eve to the hospital with leftover toys because the Marines have to have the toys by a certain amount of time. We're still getting toys in. And Rob's like, hey, we got to give these toys. We'll go to hospitals. Me and him would drive through neighborhoods that you would go through, and we would give the kids out toys. We give them toys. So the first year we go to the Children's Hospital in Wellington, and Rob is big with Make-A-Wish Foundation and so forth. He's like, dude, we're going in. And so we start going in these rooms, and these kids are terminal. They're terminal. They're 5, 6, 7, 10, 15. They're terminal. And we go in there, and we walk in, and they see them, and then they see me, and we're giving them toys. Well, me, the big mush, I go out in the hallway, and I'm bawling. I'm bawling my eyes out because these kids got smiling just like you are right now. Yeah. They're just smiling, and I know they're terminal. Yeah. Like, they're this could be their last Christmas. So, Rob comes out and he goes, hey, you got to get back in there. He goes, I know you're a tough guy. He goes, I know. He goes, but you got to get back in there. Can't let these kids see you like that. And I'm thinking, okay, this Vanilla Ice telling me I got to get tough, and we've known each other since, because Rob used to come and ride race when in Miami before, back in the 80s when he was younger and I was a little older. So we met way back then. So he's telling me, you got to get back in there. These kids need you. So I'm just bawling because I got my own kids, and I'm thinking about how lucky I am, but how these kids are smiling and so happy right now that it doesn't matter. to them, they're enjoying their life. And that gave me another perspective about living and doing things. To see those kids that know that they're terminal, dude, they ain't getting out of there.
Yep.
They could last 6 months, a year. That's their home, that hospital bed. And you know what? It made me different. It made me like, hey, I am lucky, and I've got to give back, and I've got to make people happy. You know, when skies are gray, you got to be sunshine.
Yep.
And we do that every year. We go to that hospital and we see those kids on Christmas Eve. There ain't nothing more important than that.
Wow.
And if you get a person, and I talk to people, I go, you think you got problems? Christmas Eve, you see me, you're going to go for a ride with me and Ice, and you're going to see something that what you got going on ain't nothing compared to what you're about to see and do. So that's why when you see me, you don't see me with chips down.
Right.
Because we are blessed, man. Every day we get to do what we want.
Yep. 100% true.
Life experiences right there. And we believe in karma. We believe in giving back. We believe in treat somebody how you want to be treated.
Yep.
You know, I believe in yes, sir, yes, ma'am, still. Whether you're younger than me, I'll still open doors for people. I still, you know, believe you reap what you sow.
Absolutely. You know, and hopefully, you know, I feel the same way. And I know Cole is the younger generation, if you will. No offense, Cole. But I know that he was raised that way. And Cole, you're very much that way too.
You know,
where's Cole at?
You try, right? So here in SoCal, growing up in military family on both sides, it's like it's not an option, right? It's what you do.
Yeah, that's it. And you know, we are really also blessed. And you know, I joke around. I started a podcast because you know I didn't have anything else to do, but I'm so blessed with so much work that it's like, and so many friends and so many great stories. Like I've never heard this story from you, Wes, and man, I'm not gonna lie, I got tears in my eyes. I mean, that's 100% truth. I know Cole's a big softy. I'm sure he's probably
and I believe, you know, in certain things. I mean, one thing we don't put out is religion or politics. You keep that to yourself.
sure.
But I believe, you know, we're all here for a reason. I went to a Bible study one time and I asked, you know, certain things happen, like people run out of gas and I'll help them, or I'll push your car in an intersection, or I'll walk out my door and somebody will have a flat in my driveway. And first thing I'll do is like, what's going on here? And then I see it. I won't say nothing. I'll just go over, hey, get out of the way. Let me change your tire. Let me get you on your way. But there was a lady in a wheelchair. Her name's Nancy. And I go, Nancy, all this crazy stuff happens. Like people find me in the airport and they need help. And I'm like, why are you asking me when there's a million people that work here? But I quit questioning that.
Yeah.
They say, I can't find my gate. Can you help me? You know what I do? I get up and I go, it's over there. Come on over here. And me at the airport, I don't like to be around people. I'll hide out, put my headphones on. I'll get on my social media. I stay away, you know. And she said, you're the wanderer. And I go, what do you mean I'm the wanderer? A lady in a wheelchair, Nancy. Remember her sitting up in front. She goes, you're the wanderer. I go, the wanderer? She goes, yeah, you're picked, dude. You're the guy. You travel around and you got to bring certain things to people.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I'll go with what you say. So here I go. You know,
Yep.
if that's what I'm here to do, then that's what we're going to do.
I'm 100% there with you. And I think we feel a lot the same on that stuff. And on my podcast, I'm not afraid to say, you know, I believe in God and he's touched my life.
Oh, I do. I know.
And
But
it's,
in
I understand.
Thing, yeah.
But it's like you were saying, it's a calling, right? people
guess.
all of a sudden see it.
I don't question it. I just go there, you know.
Yep.
Like the friendship I have with you, like Todd. You know, now the bond that I'm going to make with some of these endurocross riders, where now I'm going to tell you I think endurocross is awesome, or you know, up in stock car country, the family that I stay with up there, the Guthrie families, you know, they're a big family, been there, and they have certain things, and they ask me about, because I'm out and about, certain things, and we trade advice and we trade knowledge, and I think I'm there for a reason, you know. You're just, you know, I don't know. I quit questioning. I just do what comes my way. I try to do right by people. I try to, you know, you just got to, like, you know, there's a rider, Gavin Towers. He's training with Star, he's training with Star, but he's riding for the NSA team. Good little rider. I've seen him win a bunch of races. Nobody would help him. They wouldn't give the kid a spark plug, you know, when he was on minis. And now he's probably, somebody asked me, can you help? Can you help? And I've been kind of mentoring his career the last 3 years. And he's probably one of the top, you know, you got Ryder D, you got Chance Hymas, and you got Gavin Towers. He's one of the top 3 prospects. You know, he went to all the futures races, Supercross, landed on every podium, you know.
Wow.
Doors are opening for him. So I have people that come to me, and I'm guiding their careers through this because we just know it, you know, and what not to do. And, you know, because the sport of motocross or supercross, it can be cruel, you know. You can have a lot of talent and you can be looked over. So,
for sure,
you know, I want to give back to some of these guys that might be getting overlooked. And he's training right now. He's not on Team Star, but he's got an opportunity. He trains with Swanee. He's riding with the Star guys. He's riding with Hayden Deegan. And Jeannie Carmichael's training him, also with Swanee. So there's a blessing right there that you're like, wow. You know, 3 years ago, this kid couldn't get a spark plug.
Yeah.
And he's a top prospect. Like, won Motos at Loretta's this year, you know. And finished second in the pro sport class. So, but anyway.
Yeah, that's what it's about. You know, we're so blessed. We're so blessed to be like where we're at. Like, I don't know. It's like we always smiles and like just spread it, you know.
Hey, look what you did for me. I needed a ride to the airport one day. You didn't know me from Adam. I was just on the tour, and you're like, hey, dude, I got you, man.
Yeah,
I'm
always
taking you to the airport. And we didn't even have a race car connection then.
No, that's right.
You out going, hey, don't forget me. It was other than you going, hey, you need to give this stuff out and pump up kicker. Now, dude, I don't go to the races. I come find you, man. I got to spend time with you for a minute, you know? And it might only be for a minute. But I have so much respect for you that I got to go out of my way to come see you, to know that I'm going to promote kicker and do what I got to do out there. So you could be back there going, that's my guy.
That's my dude.
It. And I have know in my heart that I want to represent your company the best I can.
I had completely forgotten about that ride to the airport, my brother.
See, I don't forget. Where were we? We were somewhere.
Was it? Wasn't North Carolina? It was
Amarillo.
Oh yeah. That's right.
I don't forget, man. Hey.
Because I had to go drop my rental car off because I was traveling with the crew back to Guthrie in their hauler.
I rode here with Jack from Salt Lake.
Yes.
And lucky for that, and that's how you pinned me down, or you would have got me the other night or Thursday night. But now I'm going to ride back with Jack all the way to Denver.
Well, I may be following you guys.
I'm on tour, dude. But I love it. But hey, Jack's really hungry right now.
Okay, we need to wrap it up. Man, thank you so much. Hey, you know what? I had an idea when you were talking about the stock car stuff. Let's sometime down the road, not tomorrow or anything. Let's do us a bench racing episode. Just talk about your stock car program and stuff like
Jack,
that.
Mad Dog, like, oh, before I go to the races and I got time in the morning, I go to the junkyard and get race car parts and then ship them back east with racers and their Moto vans and stuff because I can't get parts in South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we want to hear right there.
That's a great story.
That's the stuff we want to hear for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's do that in a wrap up, a bench racing episode.
Yep.
Wes Kain, my brother, thank you so much.
Hey, love you guys, man.
Love you. Appreciate you. I will see you Thursday, probably Thursday afternoon. So,
hey, everybody hit me up on my Instagram at Wes Kain. Come on, load me up. Let's do it. And then
your Instagram.
I want you to give me a link, do something. I'm gonna do a screenshot now. Gotcha. So we can promote and plug and do whatever, Where you at? You there? There you go.
Yep.
Right on.
That's awesome. And we appreciate it greatly. I know you are a giant personality in this world. And we're on, I think, what are we, episode 8, Cole?
Episode 8 right now. Yep.
Episode 8 right here. So, dude, thank you so much. We're doing this to try and get people's stories out. I'm not doing this because of the monetary. So far, I'm not worried about that. I want to get people's stories out. And stuff like your story, man, it's just touched my heart for sure, brother. So
you're good, man. I appreciate both of you.
We're gonna sign off. You got any sponsors that you need to thank, Wes?
Monster Energy, BP Racing Fuels, Bump Box, Regal Ideas, Farm Boys, Deck Stars, Atlas Speed Factory, Leo, Tucker Trucking. I'm picturing my race car right now because everything's on the side of my race car. Kurt Busch Incorporated, Michael Waltrip Brewing, Guthrie Performance Chassis. I think we got it.
There you go. See, I put you on the spot. That's so you can practice for when you're on the top of the podium.
I got it, though. I think I got him. I think I got it.
Well done. Wes, thank you so much. Go grab some dinner with Jack. When you see Jack, give him a big hug for me.
I will. Jack speaks very highly of you, my friend.
Thank you again.
Be good, guys. I'll see you guys soon.
See you.
All right.
All right. Be safe.
Thank you, Wes.
All right. Thank you.
Out. That was a great episode. Man, my heart was just there, really getting me in the feels. Super lucky. I think that was a good episode. We want to be sure and thank Kicker Performance Audio. All your audio needs, car, boat, side-by-side, motorcycle, off-road, personal audio. I think Cole's wearing a pair of the Bluetooth earbud or wired earbuds. Sorry. I'm wearing a pair of the wired headphones. The kicker.com. You can find your local Kicker dealer, or you can find anything you need for your car, truck, or play toy. Bomber Floating Eyewear. Man, I just saw Jason from Bomber Eyewear at Sand Sports. It was great to visit with him. Those guys right off the get-go, Mad Dog, anything you need. What do you need? What do you need? And I'm like, dude, I'm really good. I got 2 pair of prescription bombers with 2 different tints in the lenses. I've got my blue lights for working in the office. I've got my Mono series that I'm wearing right now, the Boogie Bombs. And I'm like, bro, I'm solid. Are you sure? I'm like, so they're such a great partner, bombereyewear.com, Bomber Floating Eyewear, the pairs that I wear. And you can get them all this way. These are not special. You get them in the OSHA and ANSI, I think ANSI 87 OSHA approved safety lens and polarized. Just love them. Been wearing them for years. They're great guys. Tommy, super rad dude. At some point, I think I'm going to have him on the show if I can wrangle him. But bombereyewear.com and again, kicker.com. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Cole, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for getting on one of my heroes.
Yeah. Yeah, you did just fine, by the way. You were a little quiet there for the beginning. I was getting nervous that you were froze.
I'd rather say nothing, and then besides, making a fool of myself.
I'd rather
Teddy
you said
Roosevelt
something and
style.
made a fool of yourself, because we all would have laughed and moved on. But it's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for visiting with us and Wes Kain. I would like to tell you, Sand Sports Super Show is next. We will have that episode probably very shortly after this one. Thank you all so much. Mad Dog out.